live in interesting times. Today's stories. Syrian Democratic Forces slow down their offensive against Islamic State. Volunteers provide makeshift medical care in Caracas. Saudi vows to de-escalate India-Pakistan tensions. Israel's Prime Minister addresses the issue of anti-Semitism in the West. Several hundred in Washington, D.C. protest Trump's national emergency. Venezuela's Guaido thanks Trump and other countries for their support. Trump says to Venezuela military, support Maduro and lose everything. Hawaii false missile alert, 1 year later. Plus, moviegoers in Hawaii agree that EBC film Guerrero is very relatable. Hello everyone, I am Jennifer Polentan, bringing you stories from around the globe, and this is Eagle News, Washington, D.C. The Syrian Democratic Forces slowed down their offensive on the last territory held by Islamic State because of the presence of civilians, according to the fighters. The jihadist group is now entrenched in a less than half-square kilometer in the town of Baghouz in eastern Syria next to the Iraqi border.
والله المساحة لا تضيق عليهم عن جد كثير بس إنه شلون القبضات ما بقى عندهم يعني قليلة والقبضات يضل عندهم يعني بعتقد إنه بالمية مليون ما بقى يحكوا مع بعض بالقبضات لأنه هون في عندهم المراكز الأساسية كسرت راحت يعني مثلا هاي نقطة.
Islamic State group jihadists were defending the last pocket of their caliphate in Syria on Monday as European Union foreign ministers meet to discuss the crisis after U.S. President Donald Trump called on European nations to take back their foreign fighters. Die-hard Islamic State jihadists are trapped in their last patch of territory of less than half a square kilometer in eastern Syria near the Iraqi border. The U.S.-backed Syrian Democratic Forces, or SDF, fighting them said on Sunday the Islamic State jihadists have prevented civilians from fleeing by blocking roads out of the village of Baghouz. On a rooftop near the edges of the village, an SDF fighter said that the frequencies used by the jihadists to communicate had gone dead. He said now their area of control is really squeezed and they don't have as many walkie-talkies. They're not talking to each other as much. SDF spokesman Mustafa Bali said IS had blocked out roads to its holdout, preventing up to 2,000 civilians from escaping. He said using the Arabic acronym for IS, Daesh has sealed off all the streets. Sean Ryan, a spokesman for the U.S.-led coalition, said civilians who have been able to escape reported that IS militants were using women and children as human shields. Thousands of people have streamed out of the so-called Baghouz pocket in recent weeks, but at a collection point for new arrivals on Sunday, dozens of tents and a few trucks sat empty. Doctors, nurses, students, and other volunteers provide care under canopies for local residents in the Morocco neighborhood in Caracas, among other areas, as part of the offensive to demand the entry of humanitarian aid headed by opposition leader Juan Guaido.
Hoy se han recibido muchísimos casos de personas que están por debajo de su peso, por debajo de su talla y sus medidas en general, que pueden ser indicios de desnutrición o de mala alimentación. Se han recibido también muchísimas personas con parásitos, producto de consumir.
Quiero ver cómo mi país y las personas de mi país salen adelante, salen de las malas condiciones sanitarias, salen de sus enfermedades. Basta de que la gente se esté muriendo por falta de insulina, de que estén desnutridos, de que
Saudi Arabia vowed to de-escalate rising tensions between Pakistan and India during a high-profile summit in Islamabad on Monday as Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman prepares to travel from Islamabad to New Delhi. The kingdom's foreign minister spoke at a press conference in Islamabad as Pakistan recalled its envoy from Delhi for consultations, the latest development in a fresh diplomatic crisis between the nuclear-armed neighbors.
With regards to the disputes between India and Pakistan, Our objective is to try to de-escalate tensions between the two countries, neighboring countries, and to see if there's a path forward to resolving those differences peacefully. We have been working with Pakistan and Afghanistan, as well as the United States and the United Arab Emirates, to try to facilitate an agreement between the Taliban and the Afghan government so we can move Afghanistan towards peace. We believe that if the situation in Afghanistan stabilizes, it will be to the benefit not only of Pakistan, but to the region as a whole, including Saudi Arabia. And that's something that we're working on.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu addresses the issues of anti-Semitism in the West during a conference of presidents of major American Jewish organizations in Jerusalem.
We see also a new kind of anti-Semitism, the malicious efforts to demonize the Jewish state, deny the Jewish people, and only the Jewish people, the right to self-determination in our ancestral homeland. I think that we have to call it very simply and very clearly. Anti-Zionism is the new form of anti-Semitism.
Coming up, several hundred in Washington, D.C. protest Trump's national emergency. Venezuela's Guaido thanks Trump and other countries for support. Trump says to Venezuela military, support Maduro and lose everything. Hawaii false missile alert 1 year later. Eagle News, Washington, D.C. will be right back. Welcome back. You are watching Eagle News, Washington, D.C. Several hundred protesters gather in Lafayette Park in front of the White House to demonstrate against Trump's declaration of a national emergency.
There is no emergency. Honestly, the only emergency that we're experiencing right now is the one that immigrant families are living throughout this country every day with raids, families that have been separated at the border, this wall that's going to just militarize our southern border and just create more harm than good.
There's no emergency. It's a fake emergency. As a vet, I think it's uncalled for that he's calling people to the borders. There's no emergency at the border. The emergency is right over there at the White House with that man in office, with his bigotry, his racism, and his hatred towards people in this country.
There's emergency for climate. There's an emergency of constitutional emergency of gun violence. There's not an emergency on the southern border. You don't declare an emergency and go play golf.
Venezuela's Juan Guaido, opposition leader recognized as interim president by some 50 countries, expressed his gratitude to U.S. President Donald Trump and the other countries that have supported him, and says his role as acting president is to achieve the participation of all parties for the cessation of the usurpation, a transitional government, and free elections.
Y reitero mi agradecimiento al presidente Trump, como lo hago al resto de los países, en un respaldo y una cooperación a un movimiento constitucional, venezolano y profundamente soberano. Yo quisiera saber hoy si el presidente López Obrador, luego de lo que pasó con los eurodiputados, luego de lo que pasó en Uruguay y con la postura de Uruguay, sigue pensando igual del régimen de Maduro. Mi rol en este momento, como presidente encargado, como presidente del Parlamento, y lo dije desde el mismo 5 de enero, es lograr la articulación de todos los factores, no solamente de unidad, sino de oposición. Es decir, facilitar un proceso de cara al cese de la usurpación, el gobierno de transición y las elecciones libres.
Venezuela's crisis deepened Monday as opposition leader Juan Guaido's deadline to let in desperately needed humanitarian aid loomed, and President Nicolas Maduro showed no signs of backing down on blocking the shipments. U.S. President Donald Trump was expected to address the political crisis later in Miami. Opposition officials hit out at state internet provider CAN-TV for blocking their website, where volunteers are signing up to help bring in the aid, mostly supplied by the United States, but stockpiled in Colombia, just over the border from Venezuela. Bringing in humanitarian aid is crucial to Guaidó, who has given Maduro's government until Saturday to let the shipments into the country. Guaidó is recognized as interim president by some 50 countries in his challenge to socialist leader Maduro's authority. Venezuela is in the grip of a humanitarian crisis due to the shortages of food and medicine, exacerbated by hyperinflation. Guaidó said on Sunday, on February 23rd, we have the opportunity to save lives of hundreds of thousands of Venezuelans. The 35-year-old, who shook the establishment last month by declaring himself the country's acting president, has set a target of signing up 1 million volunteers to bring help in the aid, with 600,000 already registered. Last week, CAN-TV had also redirected traffic from the volunteer website to an almost identical-looking page in another bid to slow down the mobilization. U.S. President Donald Trump urged Venezuela's military on Monday to accept opposition leader Juan Guaidó's amnesty offer or stand to lose everything. Trump told supporters in Miami he has a message for every official who is helping to keep President Nicolas Maduro in place, and that the eyes of the entire world are upon them today, every day in the future.
If you choose this path, you will find no safe harbor, no easy exit, and no way out. You will lose everything.
It has been a year since that false missile alert that shocked and terrified Hawaii.
If this is true, then maybe this is a good way to go. Maybe this is the end of my life, and I'm in Hawaii and it's beautiful, and maybe I've accomplished enough.
They're finishing breakfast, having coffee, and I couldn't believe this could be the end of the world.
This is what I remember. On January 13, 2018, we were supposed to pick up our mom at the airport that Saturday morning, until my dad told me and my brothers to hurry downstairs and hide in here. We had no idea what was going on at the time. But even after a year later, many of us still remember where we were and what we were doing on that dreadful day.
I was in Hawaii at this park, Makapu'u Lighthouse Trail, and we were there for a vacation for a friend's wedding, and a bunch of us decided to go on a sunrise hike up that trail.
At around 8:07 a.m., Hawaii's Emergency Management Agency issued an alert to all mobile devices and TV stations that a ballistic missile was inbound, and that an attack on Hawaiian soil would be imminent.
A bunch of cell phones were going off saying that, there was a ballistic missile that North Korea was going to send over to Hawaii. And it was multiple cell phones, and almost everyone on the trail got that alert. A lot of people were starting to freak out. There were a lot of tourists on the trail, not knowing where else, where to go. And then there was a woman with a lot of children running down the hill, trying to, go to her car, see where they could go. People around me started calling their families to see if they were okay, and tell them what to do if this is something that would happen. And a lot of people just sort of, they were in a panic mode.
While most people throughout the state immediately looked for a shelter to hide, there were some who were already skeptical about the warning.
I said, there's something wrong with this picture. I don't think that we're under a major attack at this time.
And how did the rest of 2018 go for them after this frightening experience?
The rest of 2018, after realizing that moment when I thought I was going to die and I didn't, I learned to appreciate and be more thankful for everything that I have, and just, live life to my fullest, because you never know what can happen at any time, anywhere.
There are currently no tests for ballistic missile warnings until further notice. Reporting from Honolulu, Hawaii, I'm Io Asenas, 1 with 25.
When we come back, EBC film Guerrero charms moviegoers in Hawaii who say that the film is very much relatable. Eagle News, Washington, D.C. will return shortly. This is Eagle News, Washington, D.C., and I am Jennifer Polintan. EBC film Guerrero continued its North America tour with several showings in the island of Hawaii. Moviegoers there agree that this film by award-winning director Carlos Cuevas is truly relatable. Mio Acenas reports.
No matter how many times you fall down, you can always get back up. A good job casting crew, great movie.
There you go.
Do you think people should watch it? How many times did you cry in the movie? 5 times. Yeah?
After much anticipation, EBC's first full-length movie has finally arrived in the Aloha State. EBC's film Guerrero held its Hawaii premiere at the iconic Dole Cannery Theaters in Honolulu. Hundreds have gathered at the lobby to purchase tickets, get their photos taken in front of the giant movie poster, where they also had a chance to sign their names. Throughout the whole event, passers-by, even from other movies, expressed curiosity about the film, while some wished they could have seen Guerrero instead. EBC also took the opportunity to introduce Hawaii to its record label, E25 Records, by displaying and offering the debut album by famous Filipino hip-hop artist Rapido. Guerrero portrays the life of a young boxer from the Philippines who had to endure the blows and punches in life, both on and off the boxing ring. Directed by Carlo Artego Cuevas, the movie has already won multiple awards in the Philippines and overseas, including Best Editing of Foreign Language Film at the Madrid International Film Festival in 2018. Here are just a sample of reaction from the crowd after watching the film.
It's funny, it made me laugh, it made me cry, it's a really good story, you should see it.
It was a moving movie and I enjoyed it, but it was a little, I wanted to see the brother. And it's like a little sad for me because I lost my brother.
Do you have like a favorite scene?
The little boy.
Which part?
He was trying to fix up the brother with the girl. And that was funny. That was the best part.
I usually don't get excited about movies, but Guerrero is a must-see. We're waiting for the sequel. Kudos to EBC, to the cast and crew, the young man who is Miguel. He did very well. He's truly a movie star.
Speaking of sequels, these moviegoers had some special requests, especially for the movie's director and EBC Films. After being released all over the Philippines and parts of Asia, Guerrero made its North American debut in Las Vegas and Saskatoon, Canada last December. It has since been shown in New York City, New Jersey, Maryland, and Virginia. Guerrero will continue its tour in select theaters across the US, Canada, and Europe. Reporting from Honolulu, Hawaii, I'm Mio Acenas, 1 with 25.
Mahalo, Mio. That is today's Eagle News, Washington, D.C. Join us tomorrow for stories that matter to you. Visit our websites at Eagle News PH and EagleNewsLive.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/EagleNewsPH. Thank you for watching. I am Jennifer Polintan and I am 1 with 25.